Well, I don't want to get into your basketball career because we know.
We know I'm below average. But you know what? I'm below average, but I still think I can dunk on you.
Anybody can dunk on me. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of The Rundown with Rene Knott. We have something very special for you for this episode. Now, I'm a person who loves having conversations with others, but I love to have conversations with someone who has an outstanding story. And the story you're going to hear in this episode is unlike any other I think you've ever heard before, because it is true, it is real. The man is a success story. I don't know if he wants to admit it, but he is. And you're going to hear all about how he made the climb, but also about how Orvin is also pulling others back up with him. My good friend, Orvin Kimbrough, is with us for this episode of The Rundown. First of all, thank you. I appreciate you coming in.
Great to be here. Thanks for
just chilling now.
I mean, just hanging. This is what we do. You actually got a pretty cool spot here.
It's not bad, not bad. We are at Carbon. This is in Clayton, and it's a club. They've been kind enough to allow us to use their space on Tuesday afternoons to tape our episodes, and so you get to experience this.
So I do a podcast. I've been doing it for a couple of years now. I come in here, I'm intimidated by all this. I mean, the cameras and the lights. Mine is I'm in a basement room. I don't barely have lights, and this is cool stuff.
Well, as a guy that runs a bank, you could probably change that.
I could probably change that.
At any point, you might want to do that. I'm going to ask you this one. What's your name? Do you ever have a nickname that people use? Or do you always just go by Orvin?
I go by Orv. And
okay.
For a lot of years, people would butcher my name, Orville.
I can admit that I've done that in my past.
They butchered my name, so I just say Orv. It's 3 letters. It's ORV. Yeah. I mean, like, if you can't get that right, I don't know what to tell you.
But Orv is pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
a good name.
Yeah, I get, so are you related to the Redenbachers? And I get all the jokes. If I was related to the Redenbachers, I wouldn't be sitting here on this show.
Well, you might. You never know. We might have crossed paths and had you come on in. I was opening up by talking about you have an incredible story, and it really is one that is incredible. When you look at it now, do you ever think, how did I get here? Or do you look back and say, there's no doubt I was going to get here?
Every day I count it a blessing to be here. And I do ask the question, how did I get here? I do ask the question, why was I saved? Mm-hmm. And so I'm still on the journey to figure that out. The only thing that I can point to is God brings us through things, and those things, if you survive them, it's not about you. It's about other people and what your story allows other people to think what's possible. I think we all have so much in common at the base of the mountain. It becomes rare air the higher you get, but at the base of the mountain, we all have it in common. And to the extent that you can connect with people at a very basic human level at the base of the mountain to say, look, it wasn't all pretty, right, wasn't all perfect, but I'm still standing. And each day I get up, I say, I'm going to give it one more day.
Wow. Take me back to the base of the mountain. Just how rough was it?
So I grew up in North City. I was born in East St. Louis, and my mom moved us to North City, and she died when I was 8 years old. I found my mother. I found her. Deceased, and so that that was a defining moment for me. Mom died of alcohol and drug abuse, and anything that you could probably imagine she would do to survive and feed that habit. She did, and she did it within line of sight of us kids, 3 siblings, and my youngest brother. He took a different path. He was shot on the streets of St. Louis when he was 17 and paralyzed from the neck down. He died last year. So. He was, just never rebounded. So life was really tough. We grew up in foster care. I mean, you don't talk to people who who grow up in the foster care system and it's all roses, and it wasn't for me. But I think those experiences give you a point of view and a perspective that goes with you no matter what room you're in. I never checked who I am at the door. Who you see is who you get. Doesn't matter, corporate room, public company board, I'm the same person.
Yeah. How are you not angry?
I'm not angry. It's an intentional. It was an intentional choice to not be angry. I would say when I was younger, I raged
Early.
Oh yeah, I was very angry as a kid. I was angry because I didn't know my dad. I was angry because I didn't feel like my mom loved me. I was angry because I went through all kinds of abuse, sexual, physical, emotional. Angry. I was angry at the world because I didn't have agency. I didn't feel like I had agency, and it wasn't until I realized that I can't live the life that I believe God has called me to live by holding on to anger. I mean, the greatest commandment, the thing that we lose sight of in the world is do all things through love. I mean, love your neighbor. I mean, that's the lens through which I look at things. So when you're angry, it calcifies your heart, it calcifies your mind, it stunts your growth. And so I've seen people. My youngest brother, he was angry.
Yeah.
Up to the death. When he was in hospice, I went and spent time with him, and he was angry. And you can say, "Why me?" Or you can say, "Okay, Lord, what was it that I'm supposed to learn from this?" And so everything that happened to me, it happened for a reason. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it to happen to me like if I had the choice. But you try to process it and you move on and you share your process. Earlier I told you, show your math, right. Show the process. And when you do that, other people find hope. And that's really what life is about. If you can speak a word of encouragement, if you can meet a person in a space where they don't expect you to meet them, I love doing that.
Yeah. I want to go back to the word you used, love.
Yeah.
Did love come into your life as a way to cope, or did love come into your life as a way to exhale and let go?
It was it was the exhale and the let go, because you hold on, to these things that like I still have nightmares.
Really?
I struggle with all of that stuff, but you kind of gotta, figure out a way to let go. And when you focus on love versus hate, love is energizing. Mm-hmm. Hate might give you energy, but it's short. It's not the sustaining energy. I think back when I said I raged out of control at times, and and I think back to just my anger, and like I was angry. I mean, like I had a temper, like I fought. And I realized that anger and passion is almost the same emotion. It's just channeled differently. Huh. And so like you can take that anger, you can, take what was hate and, convert it into something that's much more useful for yourself and for the people around you and for the world. I mean, I think we need more of that. And I'm not talking about like love as in, oh my God, it's, you have to, be committed to love yourself.
Right. Oh, self-respect number one.
Self-respect number one, and making the determination that to love myself means that I have agency. Like to love myself means that I don't have to sit and take what the world dish to me. I don't have to, be the statistic that the world suggests of me. And, I was a few months ago, I was at BankCentre prison meeting with the inmates. And, we got into conversations about like the importance of love and the importance of, personal agency and how you see the world. I can look out at the world and say, the world hurt me, people hurt me, and that will stunt my growth. Or I can say, what was I supposed to learn? And what agency do I have? That's very important.
Wow. It's a strong message.
Very
An
important
extremely
message.
strong message.
Yeah.
You mentioned passion.
Yeah.
And I'm a person that believes in passion. And I can clearly see the parallel between anger and passion.
Yep.
Because it's that same energy in many ways. How did you find your passion? At what point did you go, you know what? This is what I need to be doing. This is where my heart lives.
For me, early on, it was trying to understand why I was so angry, and what was behind it, why I couldn't let it go. And then you start to think about the world and so many unoptimized people. And they're unoptimized for a lot of reasons. We're perpetually pissed off in the world, and that comes down to pointing fingers at other folks. And other people have some ability to influence your journey, but more of that lies within you. And so for me, it was, how do I take something that was super traumatic and use it as a force for good? And so you find passion. And so early on, I studied social work. And I studied social work to try to find answers to why I was feeling the way that I was feeling, why the system, the man, the plan was conspiring to keep me stuck. And I realized, all of that stuff exists. And you can be angry at it, or you can you convert that into your North Star, your mission. And so for as many years as I can remember, my mission has been about creating conditions to help people live better lives. It didn't matter what I was doing, and I can track it back to every job. Mm-hmm. When I came over to the bank, it's fascinating. I'm in a bunch of different organizations, and people say, "Oh, you're going to make some money now." That was not my motivation.
Really?
No. I grew up in North City. You drive around North City. I was born in East St. Louis. You drive around East St. Louis. Banking and financial services. It isn't there the way that it should be there. So my motivation was to do something that many of us had never seen done. So if you think about it, I'm a Black guy who, at the time I came in, I was 43 years old, young. The average age of bank CEO was probably 65, and it definitely didn't look like me. Right. Definitely didn't have the same pedigree, come from the background that I came from. So for me, I can move into a role like this and show other people that it is possible, no matter your stage. I didn't come into banking with a finance background. Mm-hmm. I didn't come in with, banking experience. I just came in with passion. Wow. Passion for community, passion for relationships, passion to do the right things. And that means also having the right conversations with folks. I get, Rene, I get folks who reach out to me all the time. Hey, man, can you give Johnny a loan? Man, you wouldn't give Johnny a loan. What do you would not give Johnny a loan. And then they yell at me because I call it how I see it. Yeah. Like this is, I'm passionate about what I do. I want to give Johnny a loan if Johnny's more likely to pay me back.
Right. But there's an honesty to that.
There is an honesty.
That people have to come to grips with, especially in our neighborhoods.
Because in our neighborhoods, and I'm consistent, it doesn't matter where I am. I will have the same conversation, and we talk about communities that don't have the right banks and they don't have investments in our community. And a question that I ask as I pivot this just a little, I say, well, do you know how banks work? Do you know banks are small businesses? So if you don't deposit locally in a bank, meaning if you bank at one of the big money center banks, well, they're not going to do certain things in your community. If I finance everybody just based on I like you, and less on the probability of you pay me back, then I'm not in business.
Right.
But the criticism that comes from that, but I have very authentic conversations.
Yeah.
I'm
You have to.
pretty clear in who I am.
Got to be real.
Yeah.
You know, that whole statement there reminds me so much of It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
You know, and how things were, but they eventually worked out. For you to work out to become the CEO, where did you start? Did you start as a teller? Did you start, you know, where in it? Because I don't, like you said, do people know how banks work? I don't know how banks work when it comes to climbing, but how did you climb?
I didn't climb. I came in as the CEO.
You did?
I came in as the CEO.
So I always thought you were here and came up. Wow. How did that interview go?
Oh man! So
I want to be the CEO.
I'll tell you a couple things. One, I was on the board of the bank. I was working at United Way at the time, and I was on the board at the bank. And I'm not a finance guy. I'm not a numbers guy. Any of that. But we were going through a transition at the bank, and the CEO announced that he was going to retire. It would be a couple of years, and the Lord literally. I'm sitting in a room and I'm hearing this, and I was like, "Oh my God." The Lord was speaking to me right then, like, this is yours. And what's crazy about it is I was 3 months from accepting president and COO role at United Way Worldwide, which would have taken me to Alexandria. It was done. The vote was going in. Wow. That was done. And I sat back and I said, man, this could be very interesting if I threw my name in the hat. Now, the chances, the probability of them saying yes was not high, based on everything that I knew about this bank and everything I knew about the banking industry. But I called the CEO of United Way Worldwide, Brian Gallagher, and I had a conversation with him. And I said, "Hey, Brian, look, I got this possible opportunity to go and lead this bank. I don't know if the deal's going to go through, but my ass can't ride two horses." Yeah. Yeah. So I gotta sort of focus on this, and I did. And what he said to me is, if you get that job, he said, that doesn't happen. In the United Way world, what typically happens is, bank CEOs and executives go and run United Ways. It's not the other way around. It's not the other way around. And he said, so good luck. And I got the job, and it was tough. Yeah. So not just I think sometimes people do things, Rene, and they do things because of maybe the sizzle factor. Oh man, this might look good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, we just do things. I know. And it's like, maybe he'll last a year. I honestly believe that the vast majority of people around that table did not believe I would last a year. It's been 7 years.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
I know that feeling. But when God says it's for you, when God can stand against you. When God opens the door, you got to go in. That agency piece. Yeah. You're going to do what is in your control to prepare. And I don't show up any other way than excellent. And excellent doesn't mean perfect. So I show up and I do my part, let God do his part. It's been 7 years. 7 years.
I mean,
record years.
As I said
record
in the
years,
beginning,
brother.
That it was a great story.
Record years. But the story isn't just about me. The story is about the evolution of the human heart. And even like the people around me. I look back to day one, and I remember within my first few weeks, I had an executive say to me, any idiot can lead a bank, and he was being negative. He was being very negative, and I got a lot of that. Any idiot. So that's going to be the name of my next book. Any idiot. Any idiot can run a bank. I like that. And that will be the name of my next book. And so, but over time, you evolve, and the people around you evolve. They realize I am who I say I am. Mm-hmm. I am who I say I am. I don't overpromise. I don't pretend I know things that I don't know. Right. I don't know it. You get counsel. You get counselors around you. You get people who have a point of view and a perspective. I bring something unique. You bring something unique. So curating teams. Mm-hmm. So when you ask the question, well, how'd you do this? Well, it's not so much of how I came into the role as how did you stay in the role? Because you can get the role just based on folks. It's novel. It's novel. It's what you do when you get in the role.
Right. I believe in the fact that it takes a village. And now that I'm with the nonprofit Live for Life Gym, I'm realizing that it's not about my name or who I know or what my presence brings. It's about building a team around me that takes care of, one, what I don't know, strengthens my strengths, and at the same time uplifts my weaknesses. So we come at you with this team. And it's an interesting thing that I use when I MC a lot. And I'll tell people about why I wear, and of course today I'm wearing Dunks, but I usually wear Jordans. And I talk about how, the shoe is stylish and everything else, but when you look at Michael Jordan, everybody says greatest basketball player ever. Never once did he win a championship by himself. It took all those other role players on that team around him, including the coaching staff and management, to make it all work.
But think about Michael, like back in the day. So the first time I got hooked on basketball, Michael was playing the Celtics. I think he scored 63 points.
Oh, I know that.
And that was my first time actually watching basketball. And that was my first time.
I don't want to get into your basketball career because we know.
We know I'm below average. But you know what? I'm below average, but I still think I can dunk on you.
Anybody can dunk on me.
but you know what? I want to do it just to say I did it. But so Michael, back when he started, he had this passion, but the passion was one dimensional. It was about what he can achieve.
Right.
He didn't start winning until he said, wait a minute, this is not about me. So that's business.
Yes. Yeah.
When you take the focus off of you and you place the focus on others, that's business. So I said to you earlier, when you talk about like, how did you evolve? When I took the focus off of me, anger
that made it
went away, and I put the focus on others. I can't look at you and be angry.
Yeah. How do you relate that to the young, angry black man, black boy, black girl in North City now? Those who look around and see crumbling buildings, vacant lots, despair, no grocery store, no pharmacy, no gas station. What do you say to them to let them know that there is a better tomorrow in their future if they go for it?
So you're describing what I grew up in.
Yeah.
It was, and it is now. And what I would say is you've got to have an imagination. You got to have an imagination. We all have imaginations. And so if you have an imagination, your imagination can take you places that your physical surroundings might place limits on. Yeah. But your imagination, it all happens in the mind before it happens anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And so there has to be that mental shift. I was talking to a group not too long ago, and they talked about like young people. And I said, I actually am pretty direct with young people in that, I'm a foster kid. So when I talk to foster kids, I tell them the world doesn't care. The world, I'm not saying Rene doesn't care. I'm saying the world writ large does not care. And as soon as you get to a point of saying, like, you got to get to the end of expecting somebody to do something for you, personal agency, you got to do it for yourself. And that getting to that point is about how it starts in the mind, like reframe your thinking. So where we see destitution and struggle and challenges in our neighborhood, my imagination said, boy, who owns that? Who lives there? I mean, like these houses back then, they were itty bitty, but they were mansions to me. Yeah. So I mean, having an imagination, and then having dreams, and then faith is an activator. Faith is an activator. Faith is a verb. You actually have to do something. Yeah. You have to do something, and when you do that, people will meet you in the middle. And I've learned that throughout my entire life. People will meet you in the middle. They will meet you right where you are at the base of the mountain.
We all climbing.
We're all climbing.
And the last one, what is the responsibility that role models like you and me owe to those who are looking at us?
I think the responsibility that we all have, first and foremost, is to model excellence. Model it. I'm not saying perfection. I'm a man. I'm broken. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but to model excellence, show your math. Oftentimes when you walk in a room, they just see you and you're bigger than life. And you got to kind of break it down and just show the math. Like, you didn't start off bigger than life. And so for me, I think about inspiration and motivation. Inspiration comes from typically externally. You see somebody do something, but you actually have to have the internal fortitude and the motivation that has to kick in, and that has to kick in for you to take that next level. Yeah. How many times have you gone places and you said, man, that was a great speech. I'm inspired. And as soon as you walk out of there, it's like you didn't forgot the 3 points. You don't even remember the 3 points.
Let alone remember the guy's name. What was that name?
What was his name?
Yeah.
So for me, it's about modeling and doing what you can. If we all do a little something, it ends up being a big something. It's the power of compounding.
Yeah.
So I'm a banker, so I gotta look. Folks, I want the power. I want you to compound micro things that you do, small things every day add up to be big things. Make one move, take one step. Right. Period. Yeah.
What is that? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Just one step.
There you go. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you, sir.
Appreciate this.